Welcome back to the Misunderstood podcast. My name is Khumo, and today we're doing what we love. We're unpacking the world. We're unpacking what it means to be misunderstood, but we're going deeper. We're going into the art of arts. We're talking about street art, we're talking about digital art, and we're talking about art in its very forms. And I'm joined here by Leigh Le Roux. How are you doing today?
Good, man. Good to meet you as well.
Good to meet you too. Good to meet you too. I think it would be a dishonor for me to not start by saying I am absolutely amazed by the work that you do. When I saw it at Comic-Con this year, I was just, it took me aback, and I was just like, geez. And I think it was interesting because there was you and many other street artists in that same like alley place, in that alleyway. And then I'd done my research, and it was your fourth Comic-Con.
Yes, yeah. I've been there a couple times. This one, recently I've been working with them, kind of like content creation vibes as well. So this time around, I wasn't at the stall as much as usual. But yeah, it was, the content creation is also part of it for me. It's become like part of the expression.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll get into it, what it means to be an artist, what digital media means, and how that's all being infused in everything. But what have you experienced, and what has been your biggest takeaway being at Comic-Con? Because it's this moment where old people, adults, get to dress up, get to show their own childlike dreams, and they get to express themselves in all the manners which are possible. And it was the first time I really saw like everyone was let go. Everyone was free and was allowed to explore the things that they loved. But then also you see a very deep creativity running into artists who are very much in the belief of building this thing, the art that we appreciate. What's been your experience in that space, but also what has it meant to you over the years?
I think for me at first, so Comic-Con like obviously wasn't like the first expo, like gaming expo situation. It was Rage initially. Rage is actually where I started the whole Artist Alley situation. It was literally just a flip file and me sitting next to a friend that also had a flip file. Very low budget, like look, this is our work, check it out. And then, I think the Comic-Con space is very much like a space for people that are like that love what they love. A lot of the pieces you'll see at Comic-Con, if it is like fan art related, these people are not like just drawing it to get some sales.
Yeah.
They're drawing it because, no, I love this.
Yeah.
And like there's something about this show or this movie that I resonate with, and I want to like give you a moment with this illustration that gives you that. The Comic-Con space is quite interesting because now I kind of know the back end. Last year's was the first time I started collaborating with them directly.
Yeah.
And in that exchange, I finally found out about like the issues that like, the admin, the organizers deal with when it comes to the Artist Alley and like copyrighted items and like the legal side of things.
Whoa.
So I think also the AI thing came forward. They have like very much put their stand on it, which I appreciate. I appreciate them being like, look, we're not here for that. We do want to keep it like work by the artists themselves. But Comic-Con, it's been growing. It's still quite early on in its phase, but I do think there's like potential for it to grow more. I think there's also like a hunger for it. I think COVID also kind of brought it forward. I feel like we got very isolated, and now Comic-Con feels like a space where you can like dress up, and if people love that anime or that show, they want to take a photo with you. It was also like my first year where I kind of did like a low-key cosplay situation, and I get it now. Like the entire dress-up feeling of like, now you're part of a community.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to take a photo? Initially, beforehand, sure, people, if they know your work or whatever, they want to take a photo. But now there was like another, like, oh, you dressed up? Come through, So I do think the play aspect is what I'm very appreciative when it comes to Comic-Con. I feel like it allows a lot of people that are also quite serious. The street art scene can be seen as quite serious.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing the family aspect of it, right? So like you're seeing their loved ones or their friends or maybe even someone that they're mentoring, helping them out with a stand, because it's a different ball game in a way, Like I think we had people that were first time Artist Alley goers, like Samurai Farai. You wouldn't know that he would be there until like it was an announcement. And now kind of that element of like fine arts is kind of brought it to the front. I also think brand wise, Comic-Con has a large amount of like opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it, not every brand stays, but the brands that are like aware of like, yo, we do want to be at this. They seem to be like pushing.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's great. Yeah.
Geez, there's a lot you've said there, but I think I'm interested to hear where do you stand on AI and like the take that it is, because I think it's creating a very interesting space, right? There's some people who are for the belief that it helps with creativity. It's an additive. It's not the thing that takes away. And there's other people who, if they understand like the inner workings of AI, realize that AI actually just draws from things that people have created and it kind of replicates and creates what it's a new version, but it's not really completely new. And there's a whole lot of stuff to get into it. So what is your take on AI in the art space? But also, how do you feel like it's impacted your work if you have used it?
So AI wise, for the art side of things, I haven't really touched on it. I do feel like what you described also sounds like people, because people do that, right? We reference heavily from everything around us.
Yeah.
And AI is doing that, but at a mass scale. I think there's no point in like fearing it. I think it's gonna happen. I think we're seeing it already. I think I think it becomes more of like a resource thing, right? I think time is very finite, and people are aware of that now, and AI can like get them to where they want to go faster. And if they do not have the skills to like do it themselves, then they would jump and like take that opportunity. I do feel like a lot of the time you can see it. There's also a lot of times where you're just not going to be aware of it. I've seen it be utilized by people that don't want their audiences to know that. So it does become a little bit like, but it's. I think the entire ecosystem of like the artist thing, a lot of the time it used to be quite mysterious. So you do decide what you want to share and what you don't want to share. Perception is like power, right? Personally, I don't want to use it just because I kind of want to see what I can make on my own. There are spaces where I feel like I do want to experiment. From the content creation side of things, I do like the idea of giving people a moment of like disbelief. Let me believe in the magic for a second. You know. So from that perspective, I'm happy to use it, but in my own creative way. When it comes to art itself, I would rather separate the two, personally. But I do think it can probably teach us. Even I feel like it's not it's a tool, and that tool can also give you like criticism to the point where you can be like, look, here's my painting, let me upload it.
Yeah.
What is it missing that makes it feel like fine art? Which is something that I struggle with, because I know my work doesn't really specifically look like that space or that type of thing, the fine art space. The fine art space is also very controlled, very hard to get into.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you don't accept it or use it to use it as an asset to yourself, then you're sleeping on a resource that is there. And if you don't use it, someone else is going to use it, and you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
The world is moving very fast. I think you need to be able to move with it. AI is scary, because I think we all know that the job market is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And AI can cut a lot of people out.
Yeah.
And it probably is already. But I think if you can use it in a way that no one else can use it, then it is something that you fostered and that you worked on. And then, even anything you work on, it can be seen as a talent. You know? How you prompt, how So I'm not afraid of it. That's like, I know it's there. I know it will be there. I hope that it can help us rather than be a crutch. I think that's the thing. I think the street art realm is also very different. The all like even the graffiti realm, right? Because a lot of the people that I engage with are graffiti. So we're going outside, and sure, the AI can like generate the thing on the screen, but you need to put it on a wall now.
Yeah.
And that's the next dilemma of like, do you have the technical skill to draw what what you generated?
Yeah.
And not everyone can even do that. You know, but there will be those that excel at doing that. And I think we're also seeing that in the street art space, not street art, but I would say muralist space. There are a lot of people that kind of want, kind of. I think you'll see it. You'll see murals that you feel like, oh, this is AI generated.
Yeah.
Clients are very happy to pay for AI generated murals, and that's the thing. I think that's just the market that we're in right now. I think there is also the AI generated thing. When I mentioned that, also I think it's because there's a lot of realism. You know, the realism thing is something that a lot of like clientele from the general mural clientele want. Like, yo, put this person's face here, put this. And a lot of artists will just put it in the AI generator and cool, set the dimensions, and now they have their design and they can send through like multiple revisions or multiple versions very quickly. So I think it's gonna happen. It does depend on kind of what you want to do with it. Personally, I have my own things that I deal with because I'm an artist that's creating his own thing.
Yeah.
And it's not really falling into, specific boxes.
Yeah.
But that's my fight, the thing that I'll have to like figure out. Also, I think seeing what is next for my personal style. I don't know right now it's quite solid, but I think an introduction of maybe something that feels a little bit more human, even though I'm doing it and it is a human piece, my style is quite digital. Like it looks quite digital. And that comes from like my background and all. The whole graphic design situation kind of comes through with the style, but I do think they also sometimes people need to see a bit of a human element. So I would like to figure out how I can bring that forward next time.
Yeah. Yeah, you have amazing insights. I think there's an interesting you do say about how people make art, right? They reference a bunch of things and they come together to put together a piece. And there's even pieces that have become very famous that are, I don't want to say replicas, but are like inspired recreations of that. And it is very much input-output. It's very much what you know, what you've consumed that then leads to the output that you have. I was reading about your story and I was reading about your inspiration. And I think you mentioned at 9 years old you started drawing and it was from cartoons.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z was the
yeah. What has little you have to say for the world that is now?
I think little me would be very happy with where I'm at or what I'm doing right now, just because beforehand I didn't know. I was not aware of the things that I would be interested in. I knew I wanted to draw. I didn't know I wanted to use spray cans until like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I think even the tattoo thing, new development, 3 years. The moment I ended my time in like corporate web design stuff, I had saved up and I was like, cool, this is the plan.
Wow.
I found out about tattooing. I found out about graffiti itself. And I had the savings to like jump in and like give it everything,
Wow.
So that's kind of where my perspective comes from. I do feel like I would be happy to see what I've done. I think also the thing about the street art that like inspires me to continue doing it is the fact that like while you're doing it, you can see people's reactions. There's a couple of videos that I've been doing. My favorite videos are when the community actually engages with us.
Yeah.
And a lot of these videos, I'm very happy to like have some shots of people like, taking photos in front of the wall because honestly, that's the best compliment you can give any artist. So that's very much, I think little me would be quite happy with what's happened. I think even the introduction of, creating content was not something that I thought about back then. And it was not even a thing at that point in time. But I do love the hunger that this thing brings me. I think the creativity of like, I know that not everyone has, embraced the content creation world we're in now. I think more are now as well. I think the understanding that like, if you don't present yourself, people aren't gonna like do it for you, So I do think we're in like a time where it's like, cool, if you can showcase how you want to be showcased, and really show kind of who you are through every edit, I think you can really show people what you're about.
Yeah.
What moments of like disbelief that you can bring forward. I think even with my own edits, I've had to like take a step back because I've had friends be like, this feels a bit tutorial like you're showing us step by step how you do it, and that's cool and all. But I also realized like, yeah, it does feel like I'm showing people how to color in a book, and it doesn't need to be that. So deciding what shots stay in and what stays for how long now is something that I'm quite aware of. But that's because during my website design days, I dealt with a lot of UX, user experience people, and they would they got to think about the user.
Yeah.
And as someone that like consumes content, I have a very short attention span, and I'm aware of it. I think everyone has, not every video is going to do well if it feels too long.
Yeah.
So when I'm editing, I'm editing for myself mainly. Like if I at any point feel like there's a lull in the video or a moment that I'm like, I don't need those 2 seconds, I'm gonna cut it out rather. Yeah. Yeah, little kid Leigh would be happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'm interested to know is, in this world of content creation and in the world of art with content creation, how have you felt you've been able to both protect the value of the art in a space where like digital media is very like quick consumption, we're not going to appreciate the thing that's in front of us, but also in your creation process, what drives you to then say this is a good idea?
I think anything can be a good idea. I think the thing that like the content creation taught me was that I am the only person that knows my daily goings, like what happens in my day or what goes into like a mural.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm fully sharing that as yet. I think I'm still discovering how I share that. But I think there's a lot of things that people don't know or don't take note of as like special. So like the moment you realize like, I'm going to a workshop, I'm not showing myself do anything, but I'm going to a workshop to learn something.
Yeah.
That there is interesting because like without seeing your video now, no one would have known about that workshop. I think the educational aspect to content creation, it's still quite untapped. I think there are still a couple, people out there making content that's quite informative. But I also feel like we're a little bit fatigued with the amount of, let's say, advertising that's happening. Like, and I think we all feel it. We can tell when like maybe we're just being advertised a bit too much too. And then you start like not enjoying the person's content just because you're like, you're advertising to me again. You're trying to sell me something. I've had some brand deals here and there where I got into touch on that. But I do feel like the thing that makes me want to keep creating is that down the line, 5 years down the line, I know that I'm going to be better than I was today. I know that like with that amount of time of like doing, it's quite, everyone says it, the whole hard work, the more you work, and yes, not everyone will get immense success through like continuous hard work. Sometimes it is luck, but I think that hard work will create a part of you. Well, that work will create you in a way that's like, now you're fast. Now you know how to do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
If there is any subject matter, you can make a video out of it, and it won't be boring. And if it is boring, maybe it'll be a shorter video. I think the art space, that touch, like that part of it is very difficult because I think the difficulty is the art world. A lot of people wanted to it's been mysterious for a while.
Yeah.
Right. I think we saw it in like Twitch, the introduction of Twitch. Well, I know it's not even a new thing. It's an old thing, but I think the Twitch is quite relatable. I think TikTok also has that feeling of like you can be a bit more authentic on TikTok, whereas Instagram still feels quite tailored, quite curated. I do feel like the mysterious artist thing, it's still a thing, but I do feel like people want to connect to real people.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've gone through phases of like, we've got artists that are super successful, right? And they've got everything. They've got the money, they've got the mansion and all that. But at a certain point, if the content starts feeling like you're showing off your assets to us, we're not gonna like. I don't know if we'll enjoy consuming it as much. You know, because there's a point of like, cool, you're showing us what you've earned, and that's cool and that's motivational. But I do feel like you need to be very conscious of what you're doing. Just because even maybe your audience doesn't have these things, you know, and like over time it can build resentment. I think the content space there is a lot, and that's the thing. Right, we're choosing what we want to consume now, and like personally, I want to be inspired, and there are a couple people that I take reference from, or that inspired me to like jump into it. One of the artists is like an international dude, 1000. He showed me that he just moved his medium onto any surface.
Whoa.
So like from bags to like posters to then he was like on a wall.
Jeez.
So I think he very much also like, for me personally, pushed me to be like, I think this style could be readable on anything. And that's kind of what pushed me into like, okay, this person's also making their own content. I think as soon as you realize, like, I think we're all aware of it. Every person that's successful in what they do, a lot of the times they're telling us the same things. They're like, oh, just believe in it yourself. Just make the video. And I know because we've heard it so much that we kind of like pretend it's not being said, but they're not telling us something that's not true. They're just telling us the truth. And a lot of us are just not ready to like take it in. But like, wait a second. Why would I be embarrassed to show my work? And if I don't think this is entertaining, why would anyone else? So for me, the video needs to be entertaining for me before I post it. And I'll rewatch it. I'll rewatch that edit like 10 times before I'm like, cool, sorted.
That's good. Jeez. I'm curious to know in your story, because there's this interesting thing, like these last 3 years seem to have been very impactful. What was happening before then, before you made this jump that then allowed you to go, actually, I'm going to go create freely?
So, okay, the web design thing was like very much my life. During COVID, I was in like a long-term relationship. And at that time, I very much had to just make sure that we were good. So I locked in. It was just like, cool, do this. We need the money. That's what we're going to do. At the end of that relationship, I did realize that I wasn't doing something for me. The web design stuff was great for like financial benefits and all that. But I realized that like, I think also after COVID, everyone kind of had like a moment of like, whoa, wait a second. This is maybe this is the only shot you get. You know, I just didn't want this life to be the one that I didn't take the chance. So I had to take the chance. So once that relationship had ended, once I had saved up for like kind of 6 months before, I had already been like putting things into motion. I had been speaking to tattoo studios. I was kind of looking around to see what felt like a good fit for me. And then I kind of just executed. So the moment came and I had a style that I was ready to showcase. I didn't have like the backing of the streets, you know, I think everyone knows every community is quite small. And a lot of the times they're quite guarded until they get to know you. Right. So even me showing up out of nowhere, my first time spray painting wasn't in South Africa.
Wow.
I was living in Bali at the time doing the remote work situation. You know, the web design thing was very cool. There were a lot of benefits. And those people were very helpful and very like welcoming to let me try it out. And then when I came back, I kind of was like a newcomer to that scene. And these people have never seen me before, but I'm someone that's like kind of showed up with a style, which is kind of unheard of in that space. So there was backlash. There was also like people that were like, who's this dude now? Right. I think you also need to not care. Because I think it's very easy to feel what people are putting out there towards you. I think it was also like me being someone that was very happy to adopt content creation while everyone else hadn't yet. So I did come out of nowhere for people. I did see also like a difference on like, you know, your video where you're saying this is the first time I'm doing graffiti.
Yeah.
It's going to do way better than like your video where you've done already like 100.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also seeing that fatigue to a degree as well, where like the thing of being mysterious as an artist is also not posting too much.
Yeah.
Because at some point people will be like,
we've seen this before. It's the
Again?
same face.
I think it's also like formats, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm also like discovering my own formats. I'm like, the thing that I'm trying to figure out right now is how I put more of my personality into the videos. Because right now I think my format is quite music video type vibes. You know, like there's a song.
Yeah.
Cool, that's the wall. We do the wall, and that's the end. And I do like to keep the reveal till the end. There are a lot of artists that also they've shown different ways of doing it. I think Abe is a perfect example of someone that's like, he also embraced it very early on, which is great. And I think he's also got his way of like showcasing the finished piece at the like first 2 seconds of the video, and then you work your way up there.
Yeah.
I do want my audience to have faith, you know, and like take a second, and we will get there. And I'm not gonna, you know, I won't misuse your time.
Yeah.
So I think the content space is like very different. Everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have their own ways of doing things. I think also the whole thing of like people taking from one another is gonna happen. I think everything is a trend. Every song, you know, has been used. Yeah. What was the question again?
The question was
3 years. The 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 3 years. But I think, nonetheless, I think what you say is very interesting. Because I also think like a unique thing that I pick up about you, and it's probably true for anyone who's good at anything, is the constant need to evolve and the constant want to like make sure that you're aware of what's happening, you're aware of how people are receptive to the work. And then there's almost this like entire editing process. And that feedback loop is very insane because it's very much like the art itself, then the content, and then like all of that all coming together. What drives that for you? Where does that motivation come from to just constantly keep going like, I'm going to be better, I want to be better, and I'm going to keep doing it regardless?
I think I have no desire to stagnate. I think it's very easy to stagnate, to like, you know, get comfortable in what you're doing. I don't want to do that. I think the reason why I constantly want to get better at it, I think it's partly the fact that like everyone has value. Like I think a lot of the times we do put people on pedestals as like this work wasn't great until then. The work was always great. The audience just wasn't there yet. You know, in my mind, I think the push to be better. I'm someone that was like raised on anime, so the whole Dragon Ball Z the characters that speak to me are characters that like they believe unwillingly in themselves, and they will do whatever they need to do to like get to that point. I also feel that with my friends, like the street artists that I do currently like collaborate with quite often. There are people that they are very excited to like figure out what we can make next. And that's kind of the energy that I want to put out there. I think it's also, I know the Instagram world is very curated, but I do feel like it's so rare to see someone fully engaging. You know, I think it's very rare to see, let's say, someone make a video of someone else's exhibition as an artist. To make a video about someone else's exhibition is very like, what? And I also saw people were like confused when I did that. But all I was trying to do was show like the people that inspired me, you know? Collaboration, something that I've dealt with more now. At first, I felt like collaboration just felt super scarce, you know? Amongst friends, sure. But outside of people's friend groups,
It wasn't an
collaboration, I didn't really see it that much, you know? And I think I might have been one of the first people to be like, I'm going to collaborate. like openly, without the fear of like, oh, my audience is gonna go somewhere else. Like, there's no fear behind what I'm posting. Like the people I'm posting are people that I feel very happy to create with, and I am not afraid of them getting work from my videos. Like if they get work from it, great. I wanted to make a video. I wanted to create, and you found a place for us to do this. So happily, I will share that. Yeah.
It's interesting because I think, and you touched on it even earlier, like the fear of collaboration. And I don't want to say it's a thing common to South Africa, but it's something that, like, if you speak across industries, there's almost an element of, we don't do this together, and there's gatekeeping, and there's people, and it feels very, it almost feels as though there's like this unspoken criteria you're meant to reach and meant to figure out for yourself before you're accepted into like this world and this space. And similarly with collaboration, it's almost like you need my recognition before we can even have a conversation, before we can even work together. I'm interested to know, what was your journey through the street art community? What was it like? Was it something that you were receptive to? But also, what do you make of it now that you are starting to establish yourself and you're seeing yourself more in common and more in touch with what's happening?
So I think unfortunately, the gatekeeping vibe is something that I also dealt with. I think people are very cliquey, unfortunately. I think it will, over time, it wears down. I think I was one of the people that just wore it down. I kept up showing up to the events. Not everyone's going to like you. That's also something that kind of have to just come to terms with. Like, even if you make a better video, like, if they've got more followers, your video didn't get seen. So I think you need to just do it for yourself. The collaboration thing did come later for me. It came way later. But it happened after people had been like, look, he's not trying to take from us. Because I wasn't. There was none of what I'm doing is trying to take from anyone else. I'm trying to create my own thing. Gatekeeping, it's unfortunate. This is a thing that we deal with. It's just people. I think what you also touched on slightly. I feel like there might be a bit of a scarcity mindset situation right now in the creative economy. I think it's very cool that we do have people that have a lot of power to make amazing opportunities. But I do feel like we're getting a bit repetitive with things. I feel like I would love to see different ideas, maybe like different ideas, different ways of communicating. No shade to anyone successful. I want you to be successful. I just think that there's so much more out there. I feel like there's so much content that's also organically being created by creatives that are just not being noticed by brands, because there's one person that's like, I'm going to put my friend on first. And maybe we'll put you in there one day when, when you got that followership that we expect. I think that needs to switch off. I think if we're happy to create with each other, we can create better work. I think we can create better content. I dealt with the whole, like, I collaborated with some artists, and it was really cool. It did very well on their page. I very much was the one that did the edit itself, and then it happened where two collaborators uncollabed the post during the same weekend, and during that weekend, I was showcasing in a certain space, and I know that they were both there. And then all of a sudden, maybe there was a discussion. I don't know, but it felt very, you're not one of us yet. It was very, very weird energy. Since then, I kind of haven't even engaged with them, because, everything we do is a decision. And if you decide to no longer, like, engage with someone, you've made that decision, and I accept it. We don't need to force friendships. I think the social media space also has a lot of people pretending. They're like, oh, they're my best. Like, you don't know them. You've never, you know nothing about their actual. So I think there will be people that always will have their own misconceptions about you or what your work's about. something I've had to like figure out is that I don't speak about my work enough. Like I visually showcase it, but a lot of people are not even aware of what I'm trying to communicate.
Yeah.
So that's another thing of perception. Like some people just don't understand what your work's about because you've never spoken about it. And that's kind of that's on me that I haven't communicated that. And that's kind of something that I'm looking and trying to figure out, like, what's next for my content? Like, what do I want to express? What am I showing? What am I not showing that people really want to see? Because there's a lot of information that's being kept from all of us.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that we're just not aware of. Something I would love to learn about is like artist residencies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of amazing artists going on residencies, but they're not telling us about how they got it. They're not telling us during it that they're doing it. It's super mysterious still, which is a little bit strange to me. But I guess it's again that like thing of like, I don't want everyone else to know, else, you know, maybe I don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Which I think we need to like move away from, you know? Yeah.
I guess my question to all of that would be, what does your art speak about? What has it meant for you over the years?
So I had a previous style. There was an illustration style that I created, but that style required a lot more reference. I needed a reference to do my work. I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to need a reference. I wanted to be able to like do it organically through me.
Yeah.
And the style was born from an old illustration I did during college.
Wow.
I went back, I saw it, and I was like, I didn't really push this. COVID is when I looked at it, and I was like, let's push this. During that time, it was very cool to like, you know, see how that how that one illustration could create the style. I liked the simplicity of it. Because of the graphic design thing, I want to simplify.
Yeah.
I personally like simplifying things. So that's very much where the style was like, that was the main bit of like fire that was behind it. Then it came to like, because of COVID, it became very motivated by like hope. So the characters, they have their like two little dots in their eyes.
Yeah.
That for me is like them showcasing like naivety, hope.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I think the more hopeful you are, sometimes the more naive you can be. And I think naivety can be a very good thing. When it comes to creativity, I think you need to be a kid again. And I think being naive and like hopeful and believing in something can be quite naive.
Yeah.
But you're making a decision, right? You're like choosing this. This is what I like. It's faith based. So the style very much was me trying to communicate that.
Yeah.
You know, these characters are always quite happy, quite glad to be wherever they are, and then they're also very much communicating commercial thinking. I think because of COVID, you know, we were all wearing hoodies and like we were indoors at most comfortable you could be, and I think when it came to like capitalism, the less logos you have, the better quality the piece is, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, the characters they'll be as minimal logos as possible. That way, it can feel like quite high end, and then the characters would be in embrace a lot of the time. Also, kind of touching on that whole thing of like we were quite separate and isolated, and now these are characters that are like showing love without like any worry. I think also bringing that to the streets of Johannesburg was a new thing of like, oh, okay, I'm a fan of Kanye, choosing love, you know? So that was very much where that came from. The sneakers, I'm a sneakerhead. So the things that I love were also involved in that. So Nike Dunk Lows is something that I really just started to dig since Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse was my first time actually looking at even the high tops. That's when I kind of got into the whole like sneakerhead vibes. The low, for me, Dunk Lows are the most comfortable shoes. So I was like, I would dig the characters to have this. But this also feels like a touch on maybe street culture as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like the Dunk Low still seems to be like the main shoe.
Yeah.
Or like seen as the standard of like, you're doing good, you know? So that's kind of where that came from. The colors were like very minimal. That was initially my thing. I was like, cool, 3 tones. I can create anything with 3 colors and the variation of colors can be whatever. But I will make sure that you are able to read what's in front of you.
Yeah.
But then with the street art thing, I have friends that were doing full color. So I wanted to be like, I can still communicate my favorite colors, but I can do it with a bigger palette.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be 3-tone. The 3-tone thing it's still quite, I think a lot of people see it and they know it's mine instantly. But I still feel like my style is strong enough that if I'm doing full color, you can still tell, oh, that's Leigh.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have a very unique style. I must say that, because I think after seeing it at Comic-Con, every time I've seen it since, I'm like, that is you. And it's like, there's no question about it. I don't even think about it. I'm curious though, as someone who's not in the street art world, what's the importance and value of style? Because I think for many people, there might be just like every art is just a piece and it's just like it just exists. But there's an element to being able to have an identifiable piece, an identifiable thing that makes you you. So what was your journey with that? Of course, you said you came out with one, but also what's its significance in the space?
So in the graffiti space, the street art space is quite, I think there is a separation. The street art is very much, from the graffiti perspective, it's seen as way more commercial, paying jobs. Graffiti, a lot of the time, is not a paid situation.
Okay.
In the graffiti space, it's very much either you're a letter person or you're like a character person. They are the hybrids that are doing both. And those people are also very like active when it comes to the mural business side of things. So they're able to just put anything that they want on a wall. I came into it with an identifiable style, which was new to the space. I think, I think when you grow up, maybe just watching graffiti stuff, your inspiration is very much graffiti.
Yeah.
My inspiration wasn't graffiti.
Huh.
My inspiration was very much illustration, design, those things. So I do feel that the style showcases that. And I think that's the differentiator of like, okay, this is someone that illustrates, this is someone that creates. Like, I think even the graffiti scene is quite rushed a lot of the times because of, the nature of it being a lot of the times not something that's like legal.
Yeah.
Or you're not allowed to be doing these things. So a lot of the times they have to be quite rushed, quite quick. Personally, I wanted to take my time. So at my initial beginning of it still now, I asked for permission so that I can stick around, so that I can make a video out of it, I am more comfortable with being in the street because of being with the graffiti guys. So I'm pretty happy to go out there with like my phone and stuff, but I would rather go as a team or multiple people so that I can do it without worrying about my phone.
Yeah.
And even when you're with people, you can have a phone and you will be fine.
Yeah.
I think there is finding a style for a lot of people takes a long time. And a lot of people don't know their style until like it's concrete. I think it was really cool that I had something to kind of build off of, that by the time I was on the streets doing like spray painting, that it was quite identifiable. And I think that's kind of been an advantage that I've had because it's so identifiable. I think, if you're doing words, it's very easy to see what someone wrote and to know that it's them. But it's not, the lettering thing is also, it's very hard to see something that's unique because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Or like if you're not in the community, you're not looking at it the same way.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, it doesn't feel like there's many styles, to be honest. Like realism is a style, cool. Some lettering is a style. There's certain names we've seen multiple times, but is it a style yet? Somewhat. Some people have little elements that they like to do here and there, but it's not that common. Yeah, I think there are quite a few people that I've seen in the Cape Town space.
Yeah,
that I feel like are quite identifiable very quickly for me. Obviously, my friends, I can identify their work quite quickly, but I think that a lot of people's work stems from things they've already seen. So a lot of the time, it looks like something you're aware of, but it doesn't have that unique aspect because you've seen that somewhere. Yeah, I think if you have a style that you can tell is like not like everything else, it's great, but it also isolates you at the same time, because now you're very much, the faith-based aspect of it. Like you're the only one that's like, yo, this is the one. And for a long time, you're going to be the only one that believes that. So you're going to need to find your own ways of like communicating your work.
Yeah.
So the content creation did help with that. Like, I think also the content creation thing brought forward that I'm a person.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have different interests. And just because I'm a street artist doesn't mean I don't like watching movies. Right? So I do have like a lot of happening on my page. And I've also had people tell me like, yo, you need to separate things. Because, the tattoo thing was also a new addition to my page. And I know my audience doesn't always react well because not everyone signed up for a tattoo page, So I've seen that like having too much can also scare people. But I think once people realize that this is your creative expression and that you're a person that has multiple interests, why wouldn't you want to see content that like can touch every point,
Yeah.
Like I'm interested in maybe a pottery class. Oh, this dude went to a pottery class and they made a video out of it. Let's see what that looks like. And, even as an artist, they're still trying.
Yeah.
So even if it fails, I'm cool to share it.
Yeah. There's a lot of humility that comes in that, and being willing to share with people openly, and to being willing to go, actually, it's not as it seems. It's not as curated. I'm not just an artist like every day, living, breathing.
Yeah.
And it also allows for a lot of humanity to be drawn out and to be shown. I think what I am curious in is that, what do you make of the streamification of art, and how that then plays in with the ability to both be human, to be yourself, to express yourself freely? Because there's, to some extent, some arguments which is to say there's more and more people who aren't creating things that are true to them, but they're creating things that they think will do well because they've seen other people have their success.
Yeah.
And we've seen like the beastification on YouTube, and now like everyone's giving 100,000 rand out, and you're like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yes.
And then on the other end of it, you see some people who almost forgo it completely, who say, I'm just going to keep sharing, and if people like it or don't like it, I'm going to be unaffected and unfazed. How do you match the two of being happy with the process of the art in and of itself, and then also having this second element, which is the creation, content creation, and then seeing the views, seeing the engagement, seeing all that? And how do you then value your own art, but other people's art amongst this new environment?
So, it's a very interesting question. I do think for me, the person that's posting regardless, I think you're in the best space you could be in.
Yeah.
I've noticed when I didn't care, things did better than when I did. And I think, if you put a lot of work into it, it can be quite disappointing, to see that like I've had mural videos that I couldn't hit 100 likes on, and I was like, I'm doing a full size mural and I can't get 100. But like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna. I think also making for not your friends sometimes, making it literally for an audience of like clients, right? Creating it for the client base that you want to build.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time we can kind of overthink it, and you'll be like, what if my cousin sees this? But like, if you see it, you see it.
Yeah.
And if it's good, like, show it some love. I do think not caring is better than caring when it comes to the aspect of like just having fun, right? And like organically growing. Like, you don't need to blow up.
Yeah.
I think organic growth can be way more real than like, ooh, there was this one video that blew up of mine, and now I have 100,000 people that follow me, but I don't know these people, and they don't really know me. They just know this one meme that I posted, I think the algorithm is a thing.
Yeah.
I think some trends can pop off and you can grow in that way. But I don't think it showcases who you are yet. And I think that's the issue, right? Like if you do pop off on one of your videos, I would hope that that video is one that's like you, and that it's something that you can recreate again and again. You know, I know that the algorithm also seems to sometimes reward repetition. I think we've seen influencers that like they do one thing and then they do that forever.
Yeah.
And it's a bit sad to see that that's a thing and that people are very happy to kind of stagnate in that way. But I understand that like this is also you trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And if you're making a living and you know that your audience will respond to this, then a lot of the time you do need to do that.
Yeah.
I want the freedom though. I want the freedom to create whatever I want to create. And that can be like even the Comic-Con thing. My last video, it didn't do amazing, but my last video to like wrap up the Comic-Con videos, at the end of it, I had the behind the scenes element of it.
Yeah.
So on that last day, me and my friends, we packed up the stalls and we went and like we had McDonald's or I think Steers at Rosebank. And that was like one of the clips for me that meant a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm creating again for myself. I want to be able to look back and be like, damn, those are my people. Even if they're not my people now, like those were my people and they were there, you know? And for me, that's, you know, the little, even if it's like a 2-second clip, that's the video that I'm happy about because I showed that like, this is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
You know, I think doing it for everyone else, it's a thing. I think doing it for you, I think it just makes it more important to you. So for me, I'm going to make what I'm happy to make for myself. And in the future, I will now get to look back and see that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, cool. I 3 years is a very short timeline, but in 3 years, I've seen a lot of growth in my own creativity, in like how I create videos. And I'm very happy to see that I like, you know, at first I was very much someone that saved a lot of like memes or sounds and stuff, just for the sake of like, I think this could be something.
Yeah.
And I did that quite heavily at the beginning, but now, sure, there's things that influence me, but I don't want to copy it. Like I'm happy to make my own version even, but I have no desire to like copy paste. Yeah.
I'm curious, do you ever feel scared when you're creating? Like, is there ever I guess to some degree, imposter syndrome, to other degrees, just like your own internal critique, like turning and churning? Because I think there'll be a lot of people who will see the success and see the output and see and go like, this is amazing. But I'm always curious about the other side of it, the side that people don't always get light to and the things that like do churn on your mind when things aren't happening.
So my initial like jump into the content creation thing was TikTok. So TikTok happened. I was seeing content that like kids were putting out very young that inspired me. Like I was seeing videos that I was like, whoa, you can be creative. You can creatively edit and create. Like, you know, you can figure out how to showcase your work in a beautiful way. And because of that, a lot of the times when I've done some, you know, like when I initially resigned as a web designer, TikTok, not Instagram, because of the way the different kind of vibes of them. TikTok was this place that I was like, cool, I quit my job. I'm going fully into this. And it was very much like an announcement thing. I think we're used to that also on TikTok. You're used to people being like, so I quit my job. And now I'm doing this, you know? I think Instagram, it's a little bit more like, whoa, because your employers look at your Instagram. But TikTok, I felt very open and able to do that. And I think also TikTok showed me that like, you don't need to be the norm to be accepted. You know, I think Instagram can be quite superficial a lot of the times. TikTok doesn't feel that. I don't feel that same energy. So I did like have moments where I just did like a dialogue. And all I'm doing is like, I'm quite introverted. So my recording process is quite like solitude, you know? I'm in a room, that's the angle, cool, 3, 2, 1, go. Do it again until it feels like natural, or like if the first take was it, that's the take. So I've used TikTok as the one space that I can be the most vulnerable, I would say, or the most real side of myself. But I do think there's still opportunity to showcase failings. Something that I've had to that I've been thinking about, and that I kind of, a lot of the time artists have a lot of these open calls, competitions, all these things that are like, yo, if you win this, it can change the game for you a lot of the time. I've entered countless competitions.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time you don't get selected or you don't win. And I do think it's something that I'm going to look into and that I feel like I need to do because I don't want to waste effort. Like if I did a design and I believe in this design, why wouldn't I talk about it?
Yeah.
Sure, someone else won. No hate towards them. Cool. You won, great. I feel like my work was beautiful and I want to share that. And what am I doing in this video? I'm letting you know that this is the work that didn't get selected, but I feel like this could have been selected.
Yeah.
And I think people need to be okay with showing failures too. Why is it so scary to be like, I did enter each Take a Lot competition?
Yeah.
Because we did. I think it's interesting when you see the Take a Lot video even, that I'll see friends that had entered and they maybe made the top 10. So you'll see it in the video. The video will showcase some of the work that's there. It's not going to show everything. But I've also seen my work in clips and it was like, oh, I almost got, I was almost there. I think obviously the community is quite small. I am aware of one of the judges, Crabble Poppy, was someone that I worked with a couple of years back. So it's also a little, it's also strange when you have someone that's a colleague that's in the space and they have such power. And when you're not selected, it's like, it's not them. They were in a room with 5 people.
Yeah.
They didn't get the final say. And not everyone there is even a designer. So you're kind of letting the group decide. It doesn't mean that they know.
Yeah.
It's just, it becomes more of a gamble. But I do think showcasing not fumbles, but showcasing that, it didn't work out, but I'm glad I tried. And I feel like the design is better than it was last year.
Yeah.
Because why? Oh, because I submitted last year too. Didn't win then either, but I tried again. So I think the showing the fails would help humanize it a bit more. Give it a go. I think there's a lot of fear of why would I do it if I'm not going to win? It's why wouldn't you try at least?
Yeah.
And I think that trying is a good thing. I know that these competitions are also not the best when it comes to just fairness. All fairness, competitions are quite scammy a lot of the times. You are getting a large amount of work for free and one person's going to be paid. So it can be a little bit, there is an element of being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But I do think taking the shot is something that I'm for rather than not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's extremely powerful. I think because it is almost that willingness to say I can do whatever, and I know that I'm gonna freely do it if I want to do it. And I think it's also that willingness to be free. I've always said, oddly enough, to a lot of creators that I speak to, it's the childlike creativity that comes out of them. The children cry, laugh, do whatever, whenever. There's not a second thought in their mind where they're trying to consider, rethink, or go, does this make sense for the room? It's if I'm going to cry now, I'm going to cry now. And it's interesting because I feel a lot of your creativity, a lot of what you do is from that same place. It's very intuitive. It's very much if I trust it and if I like it, I'm going with it. And that's a very beautiful thing to say. And I am curious because I think many people would be curious. What is your day-to-day like? How do people actually make this a life that they live and something that they actually earn off? But also, I'd be interested because you mentioned it very early on when we started. Fine art, street art, graffiti. What are the differentiators for you? But also then what would somebody who's not you think about those 3 things and how they necessarily apply and the application to how an artist would then describe themselves as being in a specific industry or space?
I think, from my perspective and outside, I would say, as someone from my perspective, I think the fine art space I think there's a certain thing that we all expect to see with it. You know, you expect to see it in galleries, certain galleries as well.
Yeah.
I think street art, you know, the street murals kind of is more in that. Street art feels more that kind of space, and then the graffiti thing. The graffiti thing, I think that graffiti can be quite accessible. And from a street art perspective, you're kind of more about the exclusivity. Same kind of thing with the fine art space in my mind. I think each one has its own energy. There is, you know, internally within all of those communities, there is, you know, speak about each. I've dealt with people in the graffiti community being like, oh, these street artists and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very strange because I'm in the room. But you know, I think that comes again with the like the fear thing of like there not being enough work, but there will be. I believe that there can be enough for everyone to do amazing work. I think the differentiators from internally, the graffiti community seems to think that the money is all in street art. The street art peeps believe that it's all in the fine arts. So you're seeing a lot of street art or like a lot of people that are seen more as the street artists kind of trying to move into that fine art space, seeing fine art people trying to kind of move into the street art space because of the commercialism of it. I think graffiti I think something that I've kind of had to process is being a street artist, I want my work to feel somewhat exclusive, but because my work's for the people, that exclusivity feels ridiculous to me. But with me taking part in the graffiti side of things, it kind of makes my stuff quite accessible. So I'm happy to have. I think everyone deserves to enjoy art.
Yeah.
I think everyone deserves to have something around them that uplifts them. And I feel like street art and graffiti can do that. I also feel like fine art can do that too, but I think it's in different contexts, right? I think fine art spaces are very much not where the people on the ground are used to. I think someone in a community can enjoy my work, but I've also tried to move some of my stuff in the fine art spaces because I've also like dabbled with different techniques, and sometimes it's accepted, and sometimes it's not. I think each space is quite different and dynamic. The opportunities for each space are also quite different and dynamic. You know, the open calls, all those things, like I mentioned, very much like the art department of South Africa's government trying to bring that up. It's very hard for everyone to like find their footing. You know, I think it's also very hard to decide you're just one thing. Because I have no, like, I think for me, I personally have no desire to be one thing. I would, the multidisciplinary artist thing feels very accustomed to me because I don't want to live in only just one space. I see the value of just choosing one space and or maybe being quite welcomed into one space versus not. I think you very much have to create your own community. And from the outside, I think the outside is a very interesting thing. I think it's from the outside, the naivete is like the best part about it, right? You don't know that like on that day they kind of got harassed for doing this piece, versus they must have permission. They doing it, right? So from the outside, it looks very cool. I think from like when you mentioned how do I make this a living?
Yeah.
For me, I diversify. So there are many things that I do. Sorry. For me, my daily is tattoo space. From Tuesday to Saturday, that's generally where I'm at.
Yeah.
I also do work for a production company. So I do BTS for a company that kind of works with a couple local brands, Galaxy Boy, Toyota, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So those are the people that kind of saw my content. And that opportunity arose because of that.
Wow. Okay.
So they saw I was making, they were like, look, everyone here has a task they need to do for this ad. We need someone that can take a step back and observe and capture that. So that's one of my income streams. That's one of the ways that I make this like a thing that I do. The mural season has ups and downs. There's been
Yeah.
moments where I'm very busy. There's been moments where I'm quite quiet. So I have to like focus on everything else. That's also why the competitions come into play, because you never know. You enter an open call. Now you have a mural in a space that maybe can like bring further business for
Yeah.
you. The mural thing, very much strategically, that's what I was thinking about. Like initially when I came back to SA, I was like, cool. I used to be in the advertising space. I kind of think I know where the advertising spaces are. Let's get a mural up in whatever the spaces that we can. So I was literally going like, cool, skate parks, because they seem to be quite open to it. Let me ask there. Then I went to, I think it was Best Friends Club
Yeah.
in their previous location in Greenside. I was like, cool, there's a wall here. The wall was kind of messed up, which was better for me to be able to be like, yo, let me fix this wall. Got permission quite easily because of that. And then, like over time, because of not just doing the wall and hoping people see it and, reach out, the content meant that like, even if the wall gets covered, I have it.
Yeah.
I've got the photos, I've got the video, I'm good. And that's kind of part of the graffiti thing also. Like, I know that in the graffiti space, someday my work's gonna be covered. Also, I don't own these walls. These are not my walls. This is the public's walls. Whatever they decide to do, it's up to them. I've also had like people go over my work in like the most nice way. Like I've had people trace over my work with like a lighter gray when the lines were black.
Huh.
So I repainted it because it just wasn't how I envisioned it. I think the graffiti thing, you very much have to accept that.
Yeah.
I think the same with the street art thing. Like you never know if a client decides, actually, there's this other artist I saw. Let's get rid of it. I've also had pieces that were there and then all of a sudden I see on the socials, no longer there. So for me, the acceptance comes with the video. As long as I have my video, I got what I wanted out of it. There was a way for me to pay it forward. So for me, even I know it can seem quite performative that every mural I've done, I've recorded. But for me, that's how I make up for the fact that I spent a lot of money on these cans
Yeah.
and I'm not going to get anything out of it. So I want to at least have something that's proof that there was something that happened here. Yeah.
Wow. No, I feel like that wraps everything because like I understand the preservation of the art piece in like digital format, but also like the idea of like this thing can never be taken away. As in like no matter what you do to it, no matter where you put it, if you cover it, you destroy the wall, anything happens, I'll always have it. I'll always be able to have a degree of ownership. I do want to ask in closing.
Cool.
What would you say your message is to other young creators and artists in the world? And what would you say your message is just to anyone out there?
I would say create with like one thing in mind. I think create with happiness or love, whatever you're drawn to. I know some people have like darker subject matter. I think just create for you. As long as you're happy with your work, I think like that's all that it needs to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like that last thing that you mentioned with the whole like, having the thing that I have, even if I leave this wall and I don't see this wall again and it gets covered or whatever, I think when you see your piece for the last time, for me, there's a lot of like acceptance as well. My style can change sometimes based on the angle that I look at a piece. So for me, when I say goodbye to that wall, I'm accepting it for as it is.
Yeah.
So I have like love for that wall in that moment. Like I think you'll see a lot of street artists, they will touch the wall before they leave because that's something that's really cool about the street art like medium. You do get to physically see it.
Yeah.
Physically be there and like physically see the scale.
Yeah.
I would say create with love. I think fear is it's something that I've also seen in my work before. There's been times where I've done the street art thing in spaces where we were not allowed to do it. So there was nerves behind my work and I've seen the fear in my work. Don't do it. Like for yourself, rather don't do it with fear. I think you can see when you enjoyed creating a piece. So yeah, leave it there. Yeah, I know it's cheesy, but do it with love. Do it with love, yeah.
No, I fully agree with that. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me your time, and
Appreciate it.
thank you for creating. That's just I rarely do we thank people just for sharing. Like, I don't know why, but in this world, I think you need to, because yeah, there's value in seeing somebody else's mind, thoughts on a wall, on a paper, on a screen, wherever it might be. But yeah, to everyone else out there, to everyone who's listened, who's made it out this far, thank you very much. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and the lot. And as always, this has been Misunderstood.